Hello, this is Dr. Kamani, licensed clinical psychologist, and I wanted to come on just briefly and talk about fear in relation to a toxic job. So I want to just ask you, if you are a Black woman in a toxic job, is fear the only thing that's really keeping you there? I think for many of us, that is a yes. So I recently saw a video of Black women releasing from toxic workplaces, from H&D Abroad, and it was she was interviewing um, from Lack to Legacy, and they were talking about fear. And I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the fear, and just to say again, experiencing fear is not a bad thing. So your body's just saying, "Hey, watch out." Be aware of certain things. But just because you experience the fear, that does not mean stop. So I want to talk just briefly about what are some of the issues or the challenges if we just stay with the fear. So if we stay with the fear, you will continue to live a life that you don't want to live. Okay. So you're already living the worst case scenario right now. So when you think about fear, and we think about fear in terms of like therapeutically, fear really contributes to avoidance. So when we avoid situations for the short term, it's like, oh, okay, well, at least I feel a little bit better. I don't have to worry about looking for another job, or I'm used to this job, so I could just stay here. But it doesn't change the situation. So again, avoiding a situation doesn't make you feel better overall. It might help for the short term, but the long term, it doesn't help. It makes you feel even more miserable. So for all of us who are experiencing fear in relation to leaving a toxic job, I want to just say, number one, acknowledge the fear. Say it's okay for me to acknowledge the fear. Acknowledging the fear does not mean that you are weak. It does not mean anything negative about you. It's just that you're being truthful to yourself. Number two, I think it's a big step that you are acknowledging the fear. I heard a young woman say before, you can't heal what you don't reveal. So if you don't acknowledge for yourself that you are experiencing fear, how do you work through that? Okay. And then number three, confronting the fear is key. So now that you've acknowledged it, now that you're willing to address it, confronting it is key. So in terms of how do you move through that? How do you confront the fears? So, confronting the fears is one of the things that I talk about in the masterclass I'm doing with S. Emery Archer. So, you may have heard me talk about and Emery talk about the collaboration that we have coming up. So, the masterclass is called Save Yourself, Channel Your Inner Harriet, so that you can leave that toxic, hostile job with your sanity and your coins. So one of the things that we'll be talking about, or that I'll be talking about, is the fear. So I want to validate the fear is real. Just because you feel the fear, that doesn't mean that that should stop you from making a plan to leave. However, it's important for us to confront the fear. So that's something that we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to give you some tips about how to confront your fears so that you can develop an exit plan and that you can leave that toxic, hostile job with your sanity and your coins. Okay. So Amory and I are both toxic job survivors, and we are committed to helping other Black women get out. So just when we talk about, Harriet, and we know all know about Harriet Tubman, but Harriet really looked out for other people, and she looked out and she followed in terms of God's direction for her, and she led so many people to freedom. So that's what Amory and I are doing. So we are channeling our Harriet in the hopes that we can also help support you and channeling your inner Harriet as well. Okay, so again, the masterclass is called Save Yourself, Channel Your Inner Harriet, so that you can leave that hostile, toxic job with your sanity and your coins. So that information will be in the description section. So again, I want you to remember that fear is normal. I want to validate that. But the important thing is not to stop with the fear, because with fear comes avoidance, and avoidance does not change the situation. You will continue to live a life that you are not happy with, that you dread waking up to. And we don't want that for you. You deserve so much better. So I hope that you will now look at the link that I have in the description section for the masterclass. click the link. It's the early registration link and reserve your spot. So in addition to clicking the link and registering for the masterclass, please share this video with other Black women who are really struggling in the workplace, who really want to find a way out. Help her channel her inner Harriet too by sharing this video with her. So that's about it for today. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.